Okay, Sunday Night Live. All right, coming in just a couple minutes late, but I'm going to give you guys a chance to come in here. Um, I am using a new Wi-Fi, so I had to make sure that the Wi-Fi was working, and I realized I didn't pull the, oh, no, I didn't pull the puck outside, but watching myself on my channel, and it looks great. Looks so great. So nice to be sitting out here and hosting a live. So yay. Um, so come on in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you are subscribed so that you're supporting the channels. And if you're coming in from It's All About the Biology, welcome in. If you're coming in from Dr. Paula Ruffin, welcome in there as well. And tell your friends, share. And hey, Tio, nice to see you. Thanks for joining, my friend. And I feel like, do you come in from different? Yeah, you're on my channel now. So it's hard to tell. I wish StreamYard would tell me which channel people come in from. That would be kind of cool. Unless I don't know if I'm missing something. Um, Streaming to two channels where if it had something next to it, because then that can help you respond better too. So anyway, so welcome in, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Tonight's topic is summer stressing out your nervous system? Now, we've talked about this so many times in that summer is supposed to be the time where we can really tap into our health, tap into our mindset, our physical attributes, getting out, moving. There's fresh food, fresh fruits and vegetables. There's activities. So it really becomes this time where we can super tap in to our health. And if you haven't gotten into that, so many people just sort of, they don't take that first step. And I just feel like summer is an inspiring time to do that. So Wife and I Can Grow, thank you for being here. And hi, Lily, nice to see you as well. So thank you all for joining in while I swat away the gnats or whatever it is. But I don't care because I'm outside. It's 84 degrees. It's a beautiful sunny day. I did get some lake time in. I love taking the dog to the lake and getting his exercise because it's just going to be too hot. And so finding that adaptability, even for the dog, is how do we get the dog his exercise? Because otherwise, especially, we're going to be in the mid to high 90s this next week with some pretty good humidity. So that's not, you can't be out walking your dog. So seek water for your dogs if they're swimmers. My dog's a golden retriever, so he sees water, he loses his mind. So so even think about that with your dogs, and or getting up early enough to take a walk for yourself, take your dog for a walk. But whatever you have to do, it's time to really start thinking about making sure that you are dialed in on all your lifestyle factors. And then if you are, I'm just getting over to my notes. And then if you're not, we're going to talk about that today. But then what summer also brings is the excess of things. It's fast and furious. Here in Michigan, we don't have a whole lot of summer. So it's a little like we sort of hurry up so that we can enjoy summer. So you can see my garden back there. You see those trellises. And of course, we're surrounded by I deliberately did our live stream here so I could kind of give you an eyeball of the garden. And it's amazing because you have to hurry up and get all this done so that then you can enjoy it. And yes, Timo, he sees the delivery driver, the Amazon delivery driver. Yeah, you were on that live stream when the poor delivery driver from Amazon couldn't deliver my package because I was on live and he was out front barking at the Amazon person. So yeah, so I'll give you a little, so you can so this is my little flower section off the patio. And then in the back, and then also back along here, that whole back section is all herbs and dahlias and yeah, I think it's flowers and herbs. And then this is just all flowers, which is so great because then I come outside in the morning and I sit on the patio and I have my coffee and I just look, yeah, do what you love what you do. It's really so wonderful. It brings me so much joy. And so besides summer being that time when you start to move a little bit more, you eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, you really you're breathing, you're in the air, you're getting sunlight and sunshine and making sure that you're just living with a lot of joy at every turn. So I think joy is one of those things that we really have to find the ways, find things that make you smile, find things that make you happy. And going back to the dogs for a minute, when I take the dog to the lake or the pool to swim and I just watch him and he's in his element. For those of you who have dogs, let me know. Like comment in the chat. When you are watching your dog do what they love to do most, doesn't that just like hit you in a way that it to me it's such an oxytocin boost, which is that feel good hormone of connection with loved ones and people that you love. And I get that same thing with my dog, watching him experience joy. So I that's a huge part of summer for me when he and I can be out together doing super cool stuff like that and just watching him, lose his mind in water. And then we had to come home today and I don't know where he went, but had to give him a bath because we had 2 days in the lake. So he gets his bath and now we'll probably won't swim till midweek or so. But anyway, Lily says mosquitoes are so bad here. We can't even go outside to enjoy our garden and properly. A lot of standing water for the amount of water for rain we've had recently. Oh, that's such a drag. I do have these. So I don't know how well they work, but see this right there, that it's a lemon eucalyptus plant. And the last couple years, I've taken them and just put them all around the garden area. And they're supposed to repel really strong scent of lemon eucalyptus, kind of like citronella. So I haven't really noticed the mosquitoes being horrible, but I don't know. I don't know if they're working or if the mosquitoes just haven't been bad. So just something to try there, Lily. And then you could do diffusers with eucalyptus. You could do the eucalyptus candles. I have incense that I can just put right here on the table and it has a scent that repels them. So I do a lot of different things to try to repel the mosquitoes. So just some suggestions there. Hi, Nana Bear. How are you? Says, I've seen things about pure vanilla extract mixed with purified water and spritz all over yourself and clothes is a natural mosquito repellent. Haven't tried it yet. I have not heard of pure vanilla, but I know things like rose geranium, citronella, clove. Those are big mosquito repellents. Lavender is a mosquito repellent. The only thing I would say about vanilla is that it's really expensive. So if it works really, really well, then that's great. But vanilla is just so darn expensive. I don't know that with so many other amazing essential oils that you could use for repelling mosquitoes and other pests, I don't know that I would use the vanilla unless you found, yes, you must, if you're like head and shoulders above all the other ones, awesome. But that's just my thought personally. Tio says the dragonflies have been keeping the mosquitoes at bay here. Yeah, I don't see too many dragonflies here. It'd be nice if they kept them away. And we don't, I guess I haven't seen that many bats. The bats are supposed to keep them away as well. So yes, citronella candles help for sure. I've got a couple of those around here because I love being out here. I will stay on my patio till 9:30, 10 o'clock before I actually go to bed. I'll stream, something that I'm watching, a Netflix show or something like that. I'll stream that and just watch on my computer so that I could be outside. I would live outside if I could. Okay, so let me get to some notes here. and just refresh myself. So we have summer. We're all coming into summer. We are tapping into, we're moving more, we're eating better, or at least we should be. We're hydrating more, or at least we should be. But I'm still getting that regular person, like just the constant call, at least 2 or 3 calls a week from people who are saying, I still feel terrible. My labs are normal, but my doctor says my labs are normal. I still feel terrible. I don't know what to do. I can't find answers. I'm gaining weight. I feel like crap. I'm not sleeping well. I'm going to tear everybody's head off. I'm having mood swings. There's so much of this going on, and that lends itself into our chronic pain cycle. People are just more irritable. And so in this time when we should be realizing greater health benefit, we end up getting into times when in summer with we get a little more overwhelmed. We start to push ourselves a little bit further. We probably stay up too late because it's lighter later, and then of course it gets lighter earlier. So longer days will shorten our sleep cycles, but your quality of sleep should still matter inside of your 8 hours of sleep. We'll just call it 8 hours. People are still struggling with digestion. Excuse me, 1 second. I got a little, I don't know if I mute my, hold on here. Okay, there we go. I was on the struggle bus there for a second. Let me get back over to my notes, and then I will come back in and read your comments. So even though we're doing all of these things and we're really tapping in and enjoying having this enjoyment around summer, we end up pushing ourselves a little bit more than we should. The kids are out of school. We're running the kids around. We're not really on a set schedule. If you have kids who are school aged and they are home for summer break, then it's like camps, and they might still be in sports. So there's still all of this running. And so all this activity can start to feel stressful because now we're no longer on that schedule like we have during the school year. And that can start to play a role, and we can start to feel that exhaustion in our brains, and that will translate to our bodies. We also are in a place where there's more parties, there's more outdoor barbecues. And while I look at that as an opportunity to make sure that we can grill more, we can, be cooking out. I do a lot of vegetables on the grill. I feel like it's a greater opportunity to cook healthier things a little bit cleaner. Not that I don't cook cleaner and healthier during the winter, but though we're talking when it gets cold, we want more comfort food. We want, chili and soups and stews and the heavier foods. Where I feel like summer, we just automatically or naturally should be tapping into the lighter foods of the season. I wouldn't eat chicken Alfredo anyway, but I don't see chicken Alfredo as like I would see that as a winter, you're having a bad week. And that is a serious comfort food. That's an emotional comfort food. And if you need that chicken Alfredo, you've probably deserved it. So meaning you're probably like treat yourself, go for it. So what tends to wear you out the most in summer? Is it the heat? Is it traveling? Is it yard work? Is it your kids being home? What tends to make you feel like it's enough already? You got to get to the next place. You've got to figure this thing out. I will tell you, for me, it's the yard work, not necessarily tending to the garden, but I have an area of my yard way back there. I'll show you guys here. Let me where is she? Oh wait, right. Sorry, it's hard to see. It's hard to see. Oh, you can't really see it. It's kind of in between these two plants. There's a blue side of a, anyway, it's my shed that was crushed in a storm. And there's just all this stuff overgrowing. I have a really great berry patch back there, but I have all of these crazy weeds. I have nettle. I know we've discussed nettle. No, I'm not cutting the nettle and preserving it, okay? Nettle can go. If you want the nettle, I will put it in a box and send it to you. I have pokeweed that grows. Pokeweed never grew here. And then I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago, it started to grow and now it's so invasive and I can't you have to dig it up. You have to dig it up. Like you could cut it, but you really need to dig it up. And if you don't get it before those berries form, it's an absolute mess. And then the more berries that drop, because there's seeds in those berries, the more berries that drop, the more it perpetuates. So it is a highly, highly invasive plant. And let's not even, well, all right, we'll get started on the pokeweed. People say it's super healthy. You can make a tonic. And I think I've talked about this on a live stream before. You can make a tonic out of it. It's good for your liver. La, 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 la. Listen, I don't need a whole field of pokeweeds just to pull 10 berries off to then have to be very careful about how I strain it and make sure not one of those little seeds gets into my digestive tract because it can cause severe digestive upset. So no, not worth it to me. I don't need it. It is like it's my nemesis. It's my okay, Tio. Try watering the pokeweed with salt water. Okay. How much salt? How much salt would kill it? So yes, and that is where I'm hiding the nettle for sure. So that's how I feel about pokeweed. Let me get up here and read some of your comments. I love that you guys are commenting, and I love the engagement, especially on this beautiful Sunday night. And if you didn't engage, I'd just be sitting here talking to myself. Let's see. That was the mosquitoes. Where are we at here? Tio dragonflies are beautiful. Only have ever seen one on our property ever. Yeah, we don't get many of them. It's the very occasional one. Let's see, that's a variety of them. Unfortunately, our town sprays for them. The mosquitoes, yeah, a lot of public spaces will spray the chemicals, and it's just really sad because you don't have a say in who is poisoning your air. It is really unfortunate. It's like your neighbors fertilizing their lawns. You come into the neighborhood and all you smell is the fertilizer. It's terrible. I always try to hold my breath, but no, thank you. I don't need it. And my lawn is, there's plenty of weeds in my lawn and I don't mind. So let's see where we at. See, hormone disruption from chemicals can cause these issues. It's so prevalent. And so that's why also when I talk about things that bring you joy, we do need to get the cleanliness of what we eat and what we drink. How clean is our air, meaning like don't spray for things around your home. Don't breathe in toxic chemicals in your home. So, being very mindful of your cleaning products. And all of that can be hormone disrupting. What do you put on your skin? What do you wash your face with? What's your shampoo and conditioner? I just got out of the shower. Is it more natural? Is it a hormone disruptor? Are you wearing sunscreen? Every single chemical in sunscreen is a hormone disruptor, and we are slathering this stuff on babies. And if you're going to use something, just make sure it's mineral based, like a zinc oxide or a titanium dioxide. And the problem is, if you think about this, some of these sunscreens are banned in certain countries, let's say Hawaii. So these sunscreens are banned because they kill the coral reef. Now, think about this. People put sunscreen on themselves, they slather it on their babies, and then they go in the water, and then it washes off and it dilutes and it still kills the reefs. Imagine, that's diluted, but imagine you're putting it on your skin and then you're in the sun and it opens up your pores and those chemicals get into your bloodstream within just seconds. So that is a major hormone disruptor. And no one makes that connection when they end up with hormonal issues, whether it could be acne, it could be reproductive issues, painful menstrual cycles for women, or infertility, brain issues, neurodegeneration, neurodegenerative issues, ADD, ADHD, learning disabilities. There's so many different ways that your body can become disrupted hormonally, and much of it has to do with environmental and what you're putting in your body and on your body. Control that, because you won't be able to control what the community is spraying, what the government's spraying in the air. You can't control those things. So just try to control what you can control on your own. Um, could have been looking for Santa. I think that was okay. I missed the reference because I think that was too long ago. Aren't kids baby goats? Yes, kids are baby goats, which, of course, I don't know if they would be less, um, you know, less disruptive to someone's life than an actual kids. Um, Heat will do me in. It's why if I'm out in the morning, evenings, I'm inside in the middle of the day. And a lot of people have issues with being out in the heat in that midday, especially when it starts pushing into the 80s and 90s. For me, that's my jam. I want to be outside all day long. I want to be floating in water. I just want to be outside. I feel amazing when I'm in the heat, but I'm a unicorn. I'm definitely a unicorn when it comes to that. So I get it. I could actually just swelter in my office, but for the sake of my patients, I turn the air conditioning on. And oh yeah, that's the nettle. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're back to the salt water on the pokeweed. Stinging. I know, Lily. I know stinging nettle is very nutritious. I don't care. I do not care. I am not going out there, and I know. No, I just want it out of my garden, okay? I have to draw a line somewhere. Start with a half a cup per gallon of water. Oh, goodness. Tio, that's great. Okay, and I'll just pour it right down on the root. What about like putting salt water in a sprayer and spraying it over top of it, or just straight into the root? I think would probably be helpful. I wonder if would that work for mulberry too? I have mulberry that grows everywhere. I mean, it's like I just chopped some down yesterday, and I'm sure by tomorrow there's going to be another 4 foot something or other just popping up. So mulberry is also the bane of my existence. Nana Bear says we're having adverse reactions to geomagnetic polar shifts. Dr. Jack Cruz is teaching a lot about it. He recommends carbonated water to reduce deuterium in our body. Have you heard of this? I have not. I watch Jack Cruz and then I forget about him, and he is fascinating. So thank you for that reminder. I'm vaguely familiar with geomagnetic polar shifts, so I think I also find that fascinating. So I will definitely look into that. And recommends carbonated water to reduce deuterium in our body. I'm curious because carbonated water is acidic, so I wonder if there's something there. But then I actually interviewed this guy on my channel 3 years ago. He was a dentist. I think he was a dentist from California, maybe. And he wrote these children's books on health and wellness. It was interesting. He was interesting, but it was just interesting. I'm just going to leave it at that. But he talked about deuterium water, and we needed to be drinking deuterium water, which I think, and I might say this completely wrong, is the phase 4 water, or is it deuterium water, or those two different things? I could be misremembering both of those, but there's phase 4 water, there's deuterium water. Phase 4 water is the water that's inside your cells, which is a little thicker. And I've heard people talk about the deuterium, or I'm going to say phase 4 water, because I could just look that up real quick. Is deuterium water and phase 4 water the same? I'm going to have Google. Oh, okay. So deuterium water is called heavy water, and phase 4 water is not the same thing. Yeah. So he talked about drinking deuterium water. So now I have to go back and listen to Jack Cruz based on what you're saying, because who's right and who's wrong? Don't know. A lot of information out there. Always good to do your own research though too. So Lily says, haven't heard of this. We'll look into it. Sounds interesting. And also make sure that you are checking different sources of that. So if Jack Kruse says something about deuterium water, go to another source and look up studies, look up other people. You try to look at things from different perspectives so that you don't just take on one person's ideology and then start saying that you have to do these things. There's a there's a movement. I'm calling it a movement because this was very popular back in like the 90s, was the alkaline water. There was a Japanese company, which I think is still around. Somebody help me out. Who was the Japanese company back in the 90s that was selling water systems? Started with a K, I think. And they talked about alkaline water. Well, then alkaline water hits the ground and it starts gaining traction. Well, now, and then it kind of like went away for a little while. And now there's these network marketing groups that are taking these alkaline water machines and creating alkaline water. And people are like, oh my God, it saved my life. Oh my God, it cured this, it cured that. You guys, you cannot make those claims. You cannot make those claims. I'm sorry, you can't. Most people, here's the way I look at it. I looked into this many years ago, and no one could provide me with data. No one could provide me with anything that made any logical sense other than a statement from the company that it's beneficial for health. That doesn't work for me. That's like asking the fox to give me a report on the hen house. That's not working for me. So what happened is now these people they're having all of these miraculous healing things from their health events. They probably just needed to drink more water to begin with, because that's the whole thing. It's this like these water challenges, get people to drink more water. And when you start to put more alkaline water into your stomach that should be acidic, you will start to make a downstream shift that will not be positive. And it takes a while. So while these people might be experiencing some benefits right from the jump, I promise you it's not going to last very long. The human body needs actually 7.0 water. It just needs that. You don't need to be. I had somebody come and gift me some water, and she said, I made sure it was extra alkaline for you. And I was like, oh, and I didn't drink it. I was like, it was a 10. I'm like, that's basic. That's like drinking diluted bleach. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So be really careful when you're out there and you're listening to things, and don't just jump on a bandwagon because your neighbor's doing it. And also, I find this where just because your neighbor joins a network marketing thing that sells health products, suddenly they're a nutritionist. Suddenly they're a health expert. No, that is not how it works. It is not how it works. I'm not taking advice from I don't know, a former, I mean, nothing wrong with being in the food service industry, but if you're in the food service industry and you start selling something and then suddenly you're a nutritionist, you're a health advocate. I mean, you could be a health advocate, but you guys know what I mean. Just be careful who you're getting your information from. And I tell my patients all the time, I'm like, listen, I have 28 years of experience. I have 3 college degrees. I've gone to an ungodly amount of seminars. I'm incredibly well read. I know what I'm talking about. So that still doesn't mean you have to take my word for it, because I will give you the information. You can trust my information, but then I will then give you some sources to go verify it for yourself. That's how I like to operate, even though I know what I'm saying is correct, because I just do. But to make them accountable for their own information, I don't really want people saying, well, I just believe this because Dr. Ruffin told me. No, I believe this. Well, Dr. Ruffin shared it with me and then gave me the resources. That's how things should actually run. So we are getting super off topic, but but you're getting me going. Tio, detergents, fabric softener, dryer sheets are quite bad for your hormones. I have said on numerous podcasts, if there is one thing you should stop using, that is laundry detergent, fabric softener, dryer sheets, because you live in your clothes all day, you sleep in those sheets all night. And if there's one thing in your house you should not be using, it is those things. You are just enveloped in them, in those fragrances. We were sitting here, I was sitting here with my daughter, this was a few weeks ago, and we caught a whiff of laundry. And I wasn't doing laundry. And and my daughter says, she goes, "Oh my God, that's the laundry smell from the so and so's house whose daughter she used to play with when she was little." She goes, It always made me sick when I went over to their house." And my daughter doesn't have major allergies, but that, because we live the way we live, she knew enough to recognize that this isn't a scent that is normal. Like, we're just like over scenting everything. And she just hated the fact that every time she went there, she just always had this like heavy smell of detergent fragrances. And Lily says, "I don't use that." Shh, never have. Yes. They cling to your clothes and keep into your skin and breathes in. Yeah, it absorbs right into your clothes, into your skin. Lily says, "I just stay out of the sun when it's at its strongest." Nana Bear says, "Synthetic fabrics are terrible. We're just learning about it. Cotton, linen, some bamboos are safe." Yeah. And the synthetic fabrics are now being implicated, I guess, or shown to, there's my boy, look at him, he's got a bone in his mouth, shown to cause your body to absorb microplastics. The yoga pants, the leggings, they have microplastics in them, and then we sweat in them, and our bodies absorb the microplastics. So the synthetic fabrics, the polyesters, are no bueno. Do I still wear them? Yeah. I don't know what else to wear. I don't, when I go to yoga, I'm like, I don't know what else to wear. So I don't want to seem hypocritical, but there's also a certain there's a certain amount of things that happen that we just can't escape. So, control what we can control. Again, you'll just always hear me say that. Yes, Lily, stinging nettle is my nemesis. Yes. It's detrime? No, deuterium? What's detrime? Sunshine is good for our cells. It most certainly is. Heavy water for radiation control. Heavy water. So deuterium water is heavy water. It's 11% denser. Phase 4. Okay. I'll have to come back to that. I did a podcast a few months ago on the pH water, the alkaline water, and I can't remember if I talked about phase 4 water or not. So I have to go back and check that. I don't use dryer sheets or fabric softener. Never have. Yeah, I haven't used a fabric softener or dryer sheet in forever. Gave them up decades ago, as I'm sensitive to these chemicals. And even, it's good that you recognize that you are sensitive to the chemicals. A lot of people don't recognize it, and then they have all these health issues, and again, they aren't connecting the dots. No one's ever shared with them that these fragrances are disruptive to their hormones. So that's one of the things that I work with when I work with people is, yes, I have to work on diet, lifestyle, hydration, and sleep, but then I have to look at what are all the environmental things that you are doing that are stressing out your nervous system and causing you to have all these health issues. Lily says, sunshine is very good for us. We just need to be careful. And also there's I'm going to say this, but I wasn't prepared to have this conversation, but I'll just say this. There are studies that show that the more sunscreen you use, the more at risk you are for skin cancers because of the chemicals in the sunscreens. So it's really important, if you are somebody who's very sensitive to sun, is just like Lily said, don't go out in the midday or wear a hat, long sleeves. There's a lot of sun protective clothing that you can wear, which would be much better than putting the chemicals on your skin. Deuterium depleted water costs hundreds of dollars for a case. So, okay, so yeah, I don't want to get confused because there's deuterium water that this guy that I interviewed said we should be drinking, and then Jack Cruz says drink deuterium depleted water. So so we have like that is like a major discrepancy in who's saying what and what's good for us. So, Nana Bear, thanks for bringing that up because I now have to go down the rabbit hole, and maybe I'll talk about that next week and just talk about water in general. In fact, I haven't talked about water in a while, and I think it's worth it just because it's summer. And I will bring that. I'll do some research on this, and then we'll solve this problem. So make sure you tune in next week. Thank you for the topic for next week's show. Kangen water, that was it, Tio. Introduced in the 70s by Iangic International of Japan. Yes, that was them. And man, they were hot on the scene. So yeah. And you're welcome, Nana Bear. I appreciate you being here. Tio says, just because your neighbor's doing the Tide Pod challenge doesn't mean you should. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Again, like that's one of those things that's like, oh, my neighbor had such great luck with whatever, some diet, or my husband, or my friend's husband, or whatever. It's like, it's not, everybody is unique. Lily says, make sure you consume electrolytes with your water you're drinking, as your cells will not take in the water without it. People can drink copious amounts of water and still be dehydrated. And that's a really interesting concept. So I do body composition testing on people. And when you do body comp testing, I'm able to measure the amount of water in the body to the pound. So that means I can tell you if you're inflamed or dehydrated. However, I also measure your cellular health in this test. And the cool thing is you can actually be inflamed and your cells can be dehydrated all at the same time. And I will say your cells should be plump like grapes, not shriveled up like a raisin. And if this test shows that your cells are shriveled like raisins and you're still inflamed on the outside of those cells, it means your body is struggling to dilute toxins to get them out of the body, because it's the only way that the body can get toxins out is to dilute them, put a little water droplet out of it so it gets safely through the liver and out the kidneys. So it's really interesting. You can drink a ton of water, but if you're still toxic, you will retain that water. Your body will then pull more fluid from the cells because it has too many toxins to try to dilute to get out. So yes, you can be inflamed and dehydrated all at the same time. And what's cool is when we work on diet, nutrition, and nutrients, what we end up getting is we start to see the flushing of the water, the inflammatory water, and then I start to see the movement of fluid back into the cell. So then the cells become more grape-like. And that's really cool. And it's really about making sure that you have the proper nutrient profile and we are getting rid of the toxicity in the body. Lily says, can't stand going down the detergent aisle in the store. It's crazy. Or the perfume aisle in the mall. Dr. Cruz wants us to avoid extra deuterium. NASA knows why. No magnetism in space. Okay. All right. We're getting into another rabbit hole there, Nana Bear. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not prepared for it. Fragrances are chemical warfare. They aren't regulated or tested for human health. I often say, too, one of the worst things you can be doing for your health is having like those Glade plugins, fragrant candles, perfume, and it kills people's sense of smell. So they literally, like, people will douse themselves in perfume. And I will have to tell some of my patients sometimes, they'll come in and they'll have so much perfume on even after work. And I can taste it. I'm like, it's like weird, soapy. I can taste it. Like there's still a cloud of fragrance around them. And then I go to adjust them and it gets on my hands and there's no amount of washing my hands that takes it off. You guys, this stuff is so freaking toxic. And then if I say something, typically that person will say, "Oh, wow, I don't even smell it. I put it on this morning." You are completely killing your sense of smell. You're completely dulling your olfactory bulb. Like, it cannot even function anymore. So you end up putting more and more on. It's really important. From a fragrance perspective, I love good fragrant smelly stuff, but I use things that are natural essential oils. So I can satisfy my need for a good smelly thing with something natural. Let's see. Perhaps hemp or linen clothing is better. Yeah, and then like I have bamboo sheets. Linen flax is best for your health. Heavy water is used in uranium reactors as an absorption of radiation buffer. Yeah, I got it. I see now I'm super confused about this whole heavy water and deuterium water. It'll be a good conversation next week. He's a successful neurosurgeon of 40 years, never once sued many. Yeah, I always found him fascinating. So yes, yes, there's a correlation. Dr. Paula, you are right. Tio says, I drink pickle juice and olive brine. Yeah, I know. When the pickles are gone, my daughter insists we keep the pickle juice because she drinks it. Those plugins are the top reason why there are house fires. That's right. I forgot about that. They burn so hot that the fire department or areas warn homeowners not to use them. The olfactory threshold is easy to reach. Our home was freed of so many symptoms when we got rid of the Scentsy wax and perfumed detergent. Oh my God, the Scentsy craze. I was in the Scentsy craze, loved it. Oh my gosh, crazy town. hmm Yeah, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that headache, or I'm sleeping better, or my rash, or my mood. Yeah, all the things. So yeah, I'm glad you figured that out. Did you figure it out the hard way, or did somebody tell you you needed to get rid of it? Let me go back into my notes, considering we did derail a little bit. Um, so some of the let's see, let me go down here. Oh, I know what I was talking about. The things that stress us out. My top thing is is the yard work. So that's so squirrel. Thinking about having to get up and go and take care of that stupid pokeweed and the nettle back there. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to do it." But then also we're doing a purge of the garage and of the house, and I've lived here for 25 years. It's time to get rid of stuff, and we have been just every weekend, it's just more and more things that we're purging out. So, it's interesting because it's overwhelming, it's a lot, and when you have a lot, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? Anybody? Anybody? One bite at a time, okay? And then there's a saying called Kaizen, and Kaizen is small little steps every day, something like that. What's the actual translation of Kaizen? Because I love it. It focuses on continuous incremental improvements to efficiency, productivity, and quality. So it's a Japanese word for improvement. It emphasizes small, sustained changes over time to eliminate waste and empower individuals. So when you have something that's overwhelming, because that's the other thing. Tio got it. One bite at a time. Yeah. Especially with summer, it's the summer projects, and it's cleaning out the house and cleaning out the garage and cleaning out the shed. It's all of the things we take on these big summer projects, gardening, landscaping. I have a neighbor who's been here several years before I moved in 25 years ago, and he and his wife, they have completely transformed. They've been working since probably May. They started cutting things down, uprooting, getting getting trees down. They had overgrown. What are they called? Oh my gosh, it's a really popular tree around, not a tree, but a shrub around here. I forgot. I'll think of. I want to say jasper. That is not it. But anyway, so they have just been going absolutely crazy. They're out there morning, noon, and night every single day doing this transformation on their home, putting in new rocks, putting in new landscaping. When you've been in a home for that long, you tend to not see things. And so they got into it, and we did too here, and me and my daughter here. So when you start to look and you see things and you're looking at it from a different lens and you're like, I don't need that anymore. This physical clutter, it affects our mental clutter. And so there's the stress relief from doing it, but there's the stress of doing it. It's like the weirdest paradox. I mean, can you guys relate to that? Where you're like, I'm dreading getting started. And then, so now that it's started and the ball is rolling, every week we do something a little bit more and a little bit more. Last weekend, I unpacked all my dad's stuff. My dad has passed away 20 years ago. And my mom passed away 6.5 years ago. And so I have all their stuff. I don't know how I became the beneficiary of everything, but I do. I have 3 other siblings, but I have all her stuff and all my dad's stuff and this china and these collectibles and, everything has value. So whether it's sentimental or whether it's a market value, then it's like, do I spend the time? Like I'm gonna take pictures and open it up to the family, who wants what. But then if a vase is worth $200, who's the person who wants to pay $200 to that vase? Like, where are these people? And then there's that much stress. Like, how much more stress do you put on yourself because you're like, well, I could get some money for that. So I'm not saying I won't sell some things, but we just have to think about the reality of the stress that we put on us in those situations. I mean, if you've ever had a parent or a loved one pass away and you've had to clean out their home, I've had several patients over the years where they've been tasked with having to clean out the home of a loved one, and it's a process. It's a big freaking deal. It is stressful. So I'm looking at what we're doing now as, I don't want to have to leave this to my daughter. I don't, and she's got a lot of stuff in there too. She's now 21 and there's been a lot of stuff collected. I would like to purge everything out of the house. So it's like, if I ever moved, I would be able to move very easily. Like, the hard work is done and I wouldn't have to be bothered with the whole like cleaning everything out. I mean, it's taken weeks so far. My neighbor across the street, just taking weeks because they've also purged out their garage, purged out their basement. So these big projects, I think this is what summer does to us, is it creates the stress to get it going. Then we're happy we're moving into the project. And then it's the stress of like getting it done, getting finished with it, because we know when we get through to the other side that we're going to have this sense of relief. And that's all your nervous system. That's all stress on your nervous system. I always say your body, your brain doesn't know if you're running from a saber-toothed tiger or not. It just knows that there's stress. So you have to recognize that these stresses come in many, many forms. And we do put a lot on ourselves. And especially when here in Michigan, we have such short summer months that we're on a timeline. Because also, do we want to spend all summer cleaning out the garage and the house? No, I want to be out in the water. I want to enjoy it. I want to be outside. I want to be active. I want to be mountain biking. I want to do all the fun things too. So those are just some of the ways that we put this stress on ourselves. And I end up my summer schedule goes in cycles where I see a lot of kids in the summer because they are home for the summer. They're not saddled with all of their sports. So parents will finally get them under chiropractic care because kids are stressed out too. We're running our kids ragged during the school year. A lot of these kids are in year-round sports. That never happened when I was growing up. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me what we're doing to our kids with sports, in that if we go back to the 80s, I always loved playing softball. And so my mom couldn't afford to put me in a league, but she would take me up to the rec center. And if enough kids showed up, we would have like a little bit of coaching. It was free, it was never anything organized, but I really always wanted to play organized sports. My brother, she put him in hockey. And because she was a single mom and he was the one who was diagnosed with ADD, or not, it wasn't called ADD, it was just hyperactive. And the doctor wanted her to put him on Ritalin, and she put him on one pill one day and said, no way, I'm not doing it. And if you really want to watch that backstory, you can go, I did a TED talk on this, just look up TEDx Detroit, Dr. Paula Ruffin, and you will see it. And so I talk about this story where the doctor said, put him on Ritalin. And she was like, no way. So she put him in hockey, something where he had to go like every day and practice. And so she spent her money on him for that activity. So I didn't get that. I'm not bitter about that at all. I don't say that to say, you know, she spent all the money. I might say it in joking, but anyway. So when I finally got to, I moved to my dad's. I was 13, and my mom wanted to move. She said, I'm selling the house. And at this time it was just my brother and myself. I had an older brother and sister who were already out of the house, and my brother and myself, my mom says, I'm selling the house and we're moving to West Virginia. And we lived in Detroit, and my brother were like, yeah, no, we're not moving to West Virginia. And my dad had a house in Southfield, which is, you know, probably half hour north of where we were at. So we call my dad, and, you know, we were like, hey, can we come and live with you? Mom wants to sell the house. And he was like, yes, of course. And we said, oh, and by the way, we're bringing the dog. And, you know, he hated dogs. I mean, he didn't hate dogs. He just wasn't a fan. In fact, quick sidebar, in the cleaning out, I have a picture of him sitting in the Oval Office with Lyndon B. Johnson, with a whole bunch of other very highly, what do you call them? Heads of states, I guess. It's a whole nother story. Why was my dad in Washington, D.C. with President Lyndon Johnson and worked on President Ford's campaign and like all the things. So anyway, they're all sitting in the Oval Office, and there's a picture, and my dad, there's a Cocker Spaniel, LBJ's Cocker Spaniel, and my dad's petting the dog. So that was always the joke, was like, the dogs always went to my dad because he knew they didn't like him. He didn't like them, but he somehow did. So we bring the dog. He ends up, that dog was his best friend. And so it was interesting. So then when we got there, then my dad was like, yes, you can join this team. So I finally was able to get into organized sports. That would not have happened. That can't happen today. You can't wait till you're 13 years old and then go, hey, I want to join a team. Like, that can't happen. And I was a great athlete, and I won a bunch of awards, and it was, you know, but so now a great athlete like me wouldn't stand a chance if I couldn't do anything organized until I was like 13, 14 years old. So I feel poorly for kids like me who perhaps have potential, but we're never going to see their potential get realized. So I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I just did. Okay. Lily says, I use only beeswax candles. Those pretty ones with fake scents are a cesspool of chemicals. I know, beeswax candles. I once had a woman, I went to a candle party. This was many years ago. And this woman was trying to say her candles, I forgot what the company was, that their candles were far better than any other candles out there. Hi.
I come bearing gifts.
Oh, thank you. You put it in the garage. Yeah. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, people.
Yes. Hello, good people.
Tio Mimo.
Tio Mimo. Yes. We're talking about beeswax candles. So the lady tried to tell me that beeswax candles were bad. And I'm like, no, beeswax candles are really good, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Welcome home. Yes. Oh, one bite at a time. Oh gosh, we're back there. Wow, I'm really behind. Okay, let me catch up. Improve one step at a time. Yes. I use Celtic salt for cell health. I avoid sodium hydrochloride, table salt. Okay, Nana Bear, I'm about to crush your world. Okay. I'm just the messenger. But Celtic and Redmond, which is, I use both of those. I still have them. And listen, I'm going to use them because I have a ton of salt. I'm going to finish them. Microplastics. Lots and lots of microplastics. So again, that's a whole different show. But I don't want to make your head explode, but I'm just going to tell you that. And Lily's probably in there because I'm sure Lily has some sea salt somewhere. So I saw, oh gosh, I forgot his name. He's a big carnivore guy. He did a whole study. And then there's another site called Momavation, and she did a whole salt study too. Microplastics. Yep, microplastics. Yes, clutter drives us crazy. It's a short drive some days. Those Ming vases are worth a little more than $200. Yep, they aren't Ming. They are Asian. I've got like 3 really beautiful hand painted vases, and then some yeah, there's and my dad loved Asian art also, and then I have all this brassware. I've got some really beautiful things. I probably should just do a show on it because it's be kind of fun. Because yeah, I'm running it all through ChatGPT, putting pictures in, and ChatGPT is keeping a graphic for me of what it is, its history, where it came from, what its value is. So that feels good to have that assistant. Yeah. Sandalwood. I love sandalwood. Yes, that is one of my favorites. When you live on acreage, family figures you've got room to store their extra stuff. I don't. I'm only on a half acre. And my house is 1,500 square feet, and I don't have a basement. So my garage is the only place to store anything. And so that's why it's like, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Yeah, borrow a goat for the week. I know. I've been like, I would love to have a couple of goats here and just move them into the different areas. I really should look and see if anybody's around that can do that. Lily says, hit the like button, show some love. Thank you so much. And Ritalin is a methamphetamine. Right. I know. It's crazy. My mom was like, no, turned him into a zombie, and she wasn't doing it. Community in our area has trucked them in, put up a temporary fence, and they eat the weeds on county property. I have seen this concept on Instagram where people bring the goats in, and I'm like, sign me up for that. So yeah, more thumbs up, showing more love. Yay, yay, yay. And Lily says, hi, gorgeous, to my daughter. And Lily says, I did hear about that as well. Have to source out better salt. I know, it's crazy. So my family is from West Virginia, and a couple years ago when we went down there, my sister had said, she said, let's go visit the salt mine. And I had no idea, all the years of going down there, I had no idea there was a salt mine there. So we went down to the salt mine, and it was beautiful in the mountains, kind of tucked away, but this gorgeous landscape. It was just a beautiful building. It was very unassuming. It wasn't like anything big and monstrous. It's just like, very picturesque place. And they had like a little gift shop, and there's an ancient ocean. Make sure I get that right. An ancient ocean, 300 feet down, and it was literally like, they're like, yeah, that's where we get the salt from. It was like 3 sticks, not sticks, but posts covering the it was like nothing fancy, covering the hole, that then they open the hole up, and then they run a tube down, and they suck the water out, and the water goes into these drying bays. And then in the drying bays, they just evaporate, and then they get the salt. So I'm guessing that because it's coming from an ancient, like a deep ancient ocean versus like the salt flats, because that would be out in the air, and there's probably microplastics coming down from the air from the freaking chemtrails and all of that. So anyway, I have to look and compare that to the other salts. I did a salt episode. It was one of my first videos, and I just did a salt episode on why salt is good for you and the minerals and all of that, but I didn't go into anything about microplastics or anything like that. So I should probably redo the salt show. Nana Bear says the purge process is difficult, especially sentimental items. I vote for it in January when it's cold. New beginnings. I know. And the only problem with January is that in summer you can pull things out into the driveway, and then like now, because we're coming on like a 7-day stretch of no rain, so I can pull things out into the garage and stage them, and I'm putting things up on Facebook Marketplace. And so yeah, you want to pick it up, it's in the driveway, come and get it. Like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had my whole front lawn. I just had all kinds of stuff on the front lawn, and I had free on Facebook Marketplace, and it was gone within a day. So that was a, really great way to get rid of stuff. So, and, because like I was telling my neighbor, and I was like, yeah, and even like, luggage, like it's in my spare room. So I have 3 bedrooms. Well, my spare bedroom it's a storage closet, a big storage closet. And I was like, I have all my canning supplies and my dehydrators are in there. And I have my pots for canning, and I have the luggage, and, it's kind of going on about that. And she goes, yeah, that's all stuff I have in my basement. I go, exactly. So trying to minimize to be able to have better storage. So, Tio says, surprisingly, there are a lot of salt mines in the US. Yeah.
Hey guys, can I steal my mom for like 20 seconds?
Well, hold on one second. I'm going to read one more comment, and then I'm going to sign off because it's 7:02.
Okay.
Okay. Winter's the time I purge in my home. Too cold outside to be outside for any time. I agree. I'll put stuff at the end of the driveway with a free sign. Yes. Disappears quickly. Tio wants to know how the kombucha is coming. It hasn't yet. We haven't gotten that far. We will keep you posted. I feel like that's going to deserve a live stream when we start that. We'll get some also. Okay, perfect. All right. So look for that for a live stream. Look for next Sunday we're going to do water next week. So I will look up the deuterium water, the heavy water, the all of it. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So tune in next week. It is 7:03. I'm going to sign off so I can chat with my daughter and kind of just wind down for the day. So I didn't get through half of my notes, but your questions were great. I super appreciate every one of you tuning in tonight. So please make sure you like, subscribe, share this episode, tell others. And if you're just like lurking and watching, at least hit the subscribe button so that we can push the algorithm on the channel. So appreciate it. All right, you guys, have an awesome week. We'll see you Thursday for Chiropractic is Sexy. Talk to you soon.